G'day, Hugh here from videsign.com.au, a design company based on the Gold Coast in Australia, and welcome to my latest tutorial. Thank you for joining. Now, I thought today we'd have a look at Premiere Pro and how it can be used to improve amateur video footage. Now, I was supplied with this footage by a customer. They shot it in their living room, they used a sheet as the background, and they shot it on their iPhone. So there's a lot of shadows, it just does not look professional at all. They brought this footage across to me and I've put it into Premiere Pro, and I think I've done a pretty good job in making it look a whole lot better. So let's get into Premiere Pro and just see how I did it. Okay, so I'm at the videsign.com.au website where I have uploaded a still image of the original video footage, and you can compare that with what we're going to turn it into. So that was what I was given, and that's where we're going to end up. So let's go into Premiere Pro and have a look at how we get to that point. Now the project is already up and running. I have done it all before, so it's all imported and ready to go. So what we're going to do is just take one of these clips and just go from scratch to turn it into what you just saw there on the website. So we'll just drop that into the timeline. Now we have got basically the footage in this particular clip is stationary. The model is moving back or forwards. In here her feet aren't moving, but her body is tilting towards the left there. Now this range of videos are for pregnant women, so it's a bunch of exercises they can undertake to improve core stability, spinal strength and posture whilst pregnant. So the exercises are the most important thing here. Yes, the background doesn't look great. We can make it look good, so the exercises then become the sole focus. Okay, so the first thing I'd like to do is, it is on a little bit of an angle. It's not terrible. We're going to mask out a lot of this anyway, but it would be nice just to straighten up that image a little bit. And you come into Effects, make sure your clip is highlighted, go up to Effects Control, choose Motion, and we want to rotate it. And in this case we'll rotate it about 1.8 degrees, just straighten it up a little bit. Now we have black at the top and black at the bottom. That will essentially be gone, but it might be nice just to punch in a little bit on the image to remove some of that, just by making the scale 102%. That just gets us, I mean, we lose a little bit of the foot and a little bit of the head there, but it just allows us to reduce the amount of black here and there. Now what we want to do is work on generally the area around the model, and we want to try and remove some of these bad looking shadows, lines and creases. Now I find the best way to go about this is to sort of blow it all out, try and make it look like one uniform color in the background. Not easy to do, but it is possible to improve to a degree. So if you come to the effects search area and type in Lumetri, you can see we have here color correction and Lumetri color. So we then drop that onto the video sequence, and that gives us our Lumetri color options to edit this video sequence, and that gives us a lot of things that we can work on. And what we're going to look at here is the basic correction to change the exposure, the contrast, the white, the black. So I've done this before, so I know what I need to put in here for the time being. When I did it originally, it was all trial and error, and it took a little bit of back and forth to try and see what worked and what didn't. But I'm just going to type in these values here, which I found worked well with this particular sequence. It won't be the same for all, but as you can see by playing around with the not so much the color temperature, but we can if you have a look at here, we could make it a minus figure or a positive figure, it's not really going to have a huge effect. But you know, you go well onto the blue. I'd like maybe in this case keep it a little bit bluer, and then we come down here to the saturation. Now we could make it as low as say 50%, but that's going to really take away from the skin tones here. So I think in this case reducing the saturation a little, but not too much. But what we're trying to do is get rid of the yellow in the whites here, to make it all as much white as possible. So reducing saturation helps with that, but you don't want to totally wash out the model either. Okay, so that's done a fair bit of work around this particular image here. So if we were to switch off this, you can see the difference. It's quite a big difference. It's really made everything whiter. It has made the skin whiter as well, but it has allowed us to have a little bit of a better area around our model. Okay, so the next thing we will do is have a look at the left side and the right side. It's not good. All this stuff here is not good. We want to get rid of this. We want to get rid of these creases. We want to get rid of this divider. So what we'll do now is we'll go up to File, New, and choose a black video. Say OK to that. And you can see we've got the black video there, and we want to drop that down onto our sequence and drag it out to be the same length. Okay, so now we have a black video over the top of our entire sequence. So we don't want it to be black, we want it to be white. So what we have to do now is invert it. So again, come to your effects in your search and type in invert. And you see here we have video effects, channel, invert. Drop that on to the black video, and it's now a white video. Okay, so what we want to do is we're going to make this one the left, and then the next one above we'll make it the right hand side. But this will be the left hand side, concentrating on this area of the screen. So we need to crop all this right hand side of the clip to the left. So again, just come into effects, type in crop, and select that and drop that also onto your black video. Now we can crop this image, and because we want to crop the right, you choose right and just drag it across until you get somewhere that you are happy with. Now she is leaning right forward, so her hands will go in and out, so we need to make sure her hand is well within this right border, but as it turns out she is, so we can just bring it back a bit so her hands stay within that scope. Very nice. Okay, now we wanted to cover the entire left hand side, but we don't want it to be a straight line like it is like that. So what we do is we come to here and we just feather the edge. In this case, probably make it about 40. So it gives it a bit of a blurred look. Now it might just encroach on her hand, so we just bring that back a little this way. I'm happy with that. So we need to do the same thing but the inverse for the right hand side of the image. So what we'll do is we again go File, New, Black Video, say OK. We have new black video, drop that down, make it go across so it covers the entire clip. Come back here and type invert, drop that onto our image, same again, crop, and drop that down onto black video as well, and this time we want to crop the left and the right, and bring that right across so it comes to, can come to a pretty good area somewhere around there. Just have a quick look and see her movements. She doesn't sort of go into the right hand side there, so again just feather it 40, double check her movements. Yes, that all looks pretty good. So we're quite a long way there now. Okay, so there we are. So that is step one. What we want to do now is step two, which is export this and then import it back into Premiere Pro as a new project, and then we can really add the finishing touches to it. So I'll just fast forward all that. So we go File, Export, Media. So we can then choose where we want to put it. So we'll put it into this tutorial folder here. We'll call it T03. Save and export, and I'll see you soon when this is done. Okay, so I have exported that footage and I have now opened up the second project where I have imported that T03 that we worked on, and here's that image of that edit we just did. And now in the reason we have a second project is because we need to pretty much isolate this, what we've done here, and use some blending effects to make it look quite good. So I've done these background images already in Photoshop and just then imported them into Premiere Pro, put the corporate details in and made it look like it's going to be a fairly professional looking background. So we can just choose a background. It doesn't really matter for the purpose of this which one we're going to do. So we'll just drop the background in, and that will be our starting point. Okay, so we want to have our image that we've just done in the other Premiere Pro project pretty much appearing in front of this background. And we did that here, we called it T03, so we'll drop that in. Now, I don't know why it was exported with audio. I didn't think to get rid of that before, so we'll just get rid of that. Okay, so now we have the T03 in place. We'll make the background the same length as the actual clip. So there we have our model doing her exercises, and underneath this layer is our background, which we see here. So the very first thing we want to do is work on the opacity of this clip, this top clip. So we click on it, go to Effects, and choose the opacity. And what we want to do is put a mask around our model here. So we want it to be a free mask. You could do a curved one or square one. Because she's moving, we want it to be free form. So you just click, and it's just rough to begin with because you don't know exactly how it's going to end up until you go about playing the clip through. But you just want to surround the model, which you can do. Bit by bit. It's got to go there. Don't have to worry about going too far out. She will move a little bit, but not too much, and then it will all link up. So then you can just click on the anchor points to change the image a bit, so that not at all the entire thing isn't totally masked out. Now we know she will move forward in this, her hands down. We don't want that to be disappearing. We don't want her hands and her arms to be disappearing. So we need to choose the whole range of movement. So we can just find the anchor points and bring them out so that the image doesn't get totally lost by the mask. So we just can do that. Open up the top just have a look at her range of movement, so we can see there hands are just in, so we just want to drop that down and that down a bit. Then when she comes back up, and you can see her hands get lost through that little point there, so we just bring that out. And gives us our whole range of movement within the mask. Okay, so I'm quite happy with the way that's masked now. So she's okay, very much so there. We just don't want that too much in there. We just get her head is sort of right at the top there. So okay, so up and down, up and down. Again, yes, you just got to watch the whole thing to make sure your entire range of movement isn't being masked out in any point. Okay, very good. So that's our opacity. Now, we do want to make a few little adjustments with it, and this is where it starts to actually look really cool. We want to feather this mask because at the moment it's very rough. We make it around 50%. You can see now the mask is the solid line with the squares in it, and the feathering is these dotted lines around it. So it will actually have a feathered edge to the mask. So that way it's not as harsh around our image. Okay, once we've done that, the magic begins by choosing our blend mode, much like you would in Photoshop, and in this case you make it multiply. Bang, have a look at that. Suddenly all this background appears. You go back to normal, there's no background. Wherever the mask is, multiply, there it is in the background. It's like she's amazingly appeared in front of this projection. Now the feet, okay, there's a problem with the feet, and the problem is that her feet are white, have been blown out by the other adjustments we've done before, and unfortunately because of that the mask and when we mask, so if we didn't have the mask there, she would disappear into the grass. When you mask her feet in, unfortunately, when you multiply, the blown out areas actually then get overtaken by the grass. But her feet aren't overly important in this particular segment. It's her range of motion from pretty much below her knees upwards. So that's a compromise which we unfortunately can't do much about. So there we have it. We have got her moving nicely, and you can see she goes actually behind this text we have here, but in front of this text we have there. That's so cool, isn't it? Wow, that is really cool. So I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial, and stay tuned for more. But yeah, that's how we've turned this original footage into something that looks really much more professional than just having been shot in a living room. So join me for my next tutorial, and I hope you have a good time watching this one. Goodbye.